residents in that area received that alert. It was also put out through social media and our media partners here. So this scene started about 10 o'clock this morning with a report of a fire at the Interco company. That's a metaltronics recycler here on Fox Industrial Drive. Currently, what was on fire was recycling materials, the structure itself, and some cars that were parked near the building. There were several explosions earlier today due to the hazardous materials, and those materials are being identified at this time. There was some concern for the lumber yard, which is located near this facility, but at this time the lumber yard remains unimpacted, and that's no longer a concern at this point. The cause of the fire is still unknown. When the fire is out, the investigation will begin. So to that point, the fire is not out. We have not put this fire under control, and we plan to be here for an extended amount of time until that happens. This was a 5-alarm fire with Madison County and Illinois Mutual Aid. The way mutual aid works in the St. Louis region is when one agency needs help, they just call for help and it shows up. So if you need more fire trucks, if you need more ambulances, you just put that request out, and that's handled through our dispatch partners, and they arrive on scene. So 5 alarms here on the Illinois side. In addition to that, resources from the Missouri side came over. That included a ladder strike team, a pumper, which is a fire truck strike team, a tanker strike team. So access to water here is limited because of the train tracks. So these are trucks that just bring in their own water. EMS units, our police agency partners, and state and federal emergency environmental protection agency partners as well. So we've got easily over 200 first responders here on scene still addressing this incident. As far as injuries, there is a report of one employee that received some burns. They were transported to a hospital. We still don't have, we still don't know their condition at this time, but when we find that out, we will give that information to you guys. No firefighters have been injured, no first responder injuries to report right now. Last thing I'll mention is we are currently providing air monitoring. That's done through Madison County Hazardous Materials. This is an ongoing process, much like what they would do during a Super Bowl or some large event where they're continually monitoring the air, constantly sniffing for whatever may be in the air. And that will help us determine when it's safe to take off that shelter-in-place restrictions. So that's kind of the latest and greatest here. If you have any questions, myself, the mayor, would be glad to answer what we can.
Do you know how many people were inside when the...
No, there were employees there. I don't know how many employees were in the building when it started.
Is that a male or a female employee?
I don't know.
Do you know where the fire started inside the building?
No, we don't know the cause at this time. We have to put the fire under control before the investigation phase can start. So we're not to that point yet.
Why shelter in place instead of evacuation?
So evacuation takes people outside into that environment that we're concerned about. So sheltering in place, turning off the air conditioning, closing the doors, that's the safest place for those residents.
How toxic is this plume?
Yeah, I don't have that information. So the question was, how toxic is the plume? I don't know what hazardous materials were in that building or what may be in that plume. That's something that they're working to determine at this time.
Can you talk about those items that were on fire again that you know of?
So for sure there were the materials inside the building that were being recycled, the structure itself, the actual building itself, and there were some cars parked near that structure that ended up catching on fire as well.
Any batteries that we were hearing about earlier?
That I'm not sure about. Yeah. So I know it's considered a metals recycling facility, but I'm not sure what was inside it.
Any idea how old is the plant, the factory itself?
No, I don't know. I don't know
what the fire here a couple of years ago, a 3-alarm fire. Any similarities?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't familiar with that fire, so I'm sure that's something that'll be addressed in the days to come.
Is 2 other buildings caught on fire as well?
That I'm not sure, Mayor. Do you know? What I have is just the one structure that was on fire.
There was an additional warehouse next to it that went to.
Okay, an additional warehouse next door.
And that goes how far back? Does it go back all the way here? Did it?
Yeah, their property, I don't know where their property line is based on where we are right now.
Is it 1 level, 2 levels, multiple?
With multiple level building, is it? Okay. Yep.
Is there a realistic timeline on when this fire can be out?
Yeah, I don't have that timeline. We can see that progress has been made. I would foresee they're still being here several more hours until we can put that under control.
So are they running into any problems, or are they just trying to fight putting out all these chemicals?
Yeah, so I think it's the materials that are in the building. It just takes a lot of resources to be able to extinguish those. So I think that's what we're seeing today.
How long is the shelter in place until the fire's out?
Yeah, well, no, until they can determine that that they know what kind of materials are in the smoke and that it's under control. So yeah, I would imagine it would still be in place for several more hours.
What do you say to nearby residents?
You have been listening to a live news conference in Madison, Illinois. First responders remain on the scene at Interco Company. This is an electronic and metals recycling company there in Madison. In that news conference, we learned that there is still a 1-mile shelter in place going on right now in that area. They are asking people who live in that area to remain in their homes and turn off their air conditioners to prevent fumes from that fire from entering their homes. Another interesting element of that news conference was the fact that they are still working to determine some of the hazardous materials that are on site there. The fire is not out yet. It was a 5-alarm blaze when it was at its worst, a mutual aid call that brought in resources from both sides of the river to assist in fighting that fire. We know that one employee was injured with burns. The condition of that employee is unknown, and the cause of the fire remains unknown as well. They are monitoring the air in the area to work to try to keep residents as safe as they can. We will, of course, be following this story and any updates that come available throughout the afternoon and evening. We will bring you those developments on the news tonight at 7 o'clock and anytime on our website, kplr11.com, and on our sister station, Fox 2 News, beginning at 5 o'clock.